Mahapani Swaha. Om Tare Ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om Tare Ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to Lama Live. At TÄRE Mandala, we are committed to being a welcoming, open, and safe community for practitioners and students of all cultures and every race, religion, gender, sexuality, age, ability, and circumstance. I'm Dr. Jean Carroll, and I'm so glad you're here for this special session with Dorje Lopön Chandra Easton, one of TÄRE Mandala's senior teachers and a lifelong practitioner dedicated to awakening the divine feminine. Today, Lopön Chandra will guide us into the world of the 21 Tārās, powerful manifestations of enlightened wisdom, compassion, and strength that reflect the awakened qualities already within each of us. We'll explore the symbolic meaning and transformative power of the Tārās and how connecting with them can help us cultivate courage, clarity, and compassionate action in our everyday lives. This session also offers a glimpse into Lopön Chandra's 2-year online journey, embodying the innate wisdom and compassion of the 21 Tārās, beginning this month, a truly profound opportunity to go deeper into this transformative practice. So let's take a breath, open our hearts, and warmly welcome Dorje Lopön Chandra Easton.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for this warm welcome. And it's such a joy and pleasure to be with you all in this format of Lama Live. And as she said, I am Lopön Chandra Easton and involved with TÄRE Mandala in many different ways. And from time to time, I drop in here and share what's exciting to me, some Dharma teachings or upcoming opportunities to study. And one of the impetuses for this is to share about this 2-year journey that people can still join in to and explore and embody and learn about the 21 Tārās and how they are relevant in our life. It's work that is very close to my heart, practice that is very close to my soul, and I'm excited to be here with you all to share a bit about that today. But first, before we dive into the teachings and practice, let's refresh our Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the spirit of awakening for the benefit of all beings. It's something that is always with us, but maybe not always in full view or full focus. And so at the beginning of any endeavor, whether it's practice or a project or a teaching, we take a moment and take some breaths and drop in and refresh our bodhicitta. So please join me in this and allow your eyes to close if that feels comfortable for you. And take some deep breaths, abdominal breaths, where the belly expands forward with the in-breath and then releases back towards the spine with the out-breath. The in-breath, breathing in through the nose, and if you wish, breathing out long and slow through the mouth, helping to calm the nervous system. One more like that. Inhale. Breathing out through the mouth, long and slow, soothing any tension in the face, the shoulders, the back, the hips, the whole body, relaxing more deeply. And then let the breath fall into a natural rhythm without too much control or effort, and feel yourself arriving more fully in your body with your breath in this very moment as we enter into this time together. It's as if each breath is drinking from the wellspring of your being that nourishes you, replenishes you, and revitalizes your system so that you can continue to carry on in this wild, beautiful, and sometimes challenging world. So this first step of going for refuge in wisdom beings, your allies, your guides, going for refuge in your breath, going for refuge in your own true nature, the Buddha nature. All of these are feelings and places of refuge that we can turn to when we begin our practice. And so I invite you to do that now, making it personal, feeling this sense of turning towards the inner refuge and the respite, the refuge all around you that's always here. And then from within this shade of the refuge, arouse a heartfelt motivation to awaken for the benefit of all beings, including yourself, including friend and foe, known and unknown, seen and unseen. This bodhisattva aspiration to awaken for the benefit of all beings. Vast motivation brings vast results. And within this spirit of bodhicitta, where we recognize the interdependent web of all beings, that we are not separate, and through that understanding, bodhicitta and compassion naturally arises. We can also recognize the interdependence of the place and time that we're in. Time is a river, not a rope. It is something that's flowing and ever evolving for us. So feel that flow, and that we are also, through our own healing, healing the land and the elements, healing our ancestry, present, past, and future, family lineages. And so give thanks and gratitude to the ancestors that have brought us into this very moment, the bloodline and the spiritual ancestry. And then also acknowledging the land upon which you sit, stand, walk, breathe, sleep, eat, live your life. I am situated on Lisjan Ohlone land in Northern California, giving thanks and gratitude to the people who for time immemorial have stewarded the land and the waterways. May they continue to do this, and may we continue to find ways to bring about balance and love and interdependence, where you take a moment to situate yourself in this place and time, feeling the river. And then receiving, asking and receiving the blessings of these wisdom beings, and feel that like a rain of blessings descending from the heavens, entering into you and all beings, falling upon the earth and nourishing the earth, the plants, the winged beings, the four-legged beings, the water beings, two-legged beings, all beings nourished by the blessings of the divine, the compassionate ones. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so now let's come back together with the eyes open. And in this way, we're like entering into a sacred ritual or a practice, a ceremony where we we go for refuge. We acknowledge the land. We ask for the blessings of the ancestors and lineage holders, the land spirits. And then we arouse our bodhicitta, our heart. We feel the heartbeat. It's said that the compassion is the heart that quivers in the face of the suffering that we witness in the world. And so if your heart's not quivering, we're not looking, right? If the tears aren't falling down the cheeks when we pray and practice, then we're not truly seeing, like the story of Avalokiteśvara when he witnessed the Buddha of compassion, Chenrezig, Avalokiteśvara, when he witnessed the suffering of beings in all the different realms of existence, hell realms, hungry ghost realms, animal realms, human, demigod, God realms, all the realms of samsara, he was so moved by compassion and sorrow for the pain and suffering that beings go through that he shed tears, and white Tara and green Tara came from each tear, from each eye. That is one of the origin myths of Tara. It's also said that he sprouted 1,000 arms with 1,000 eyes, 11 heads. So he manifested as this alternate form of himself. Normally he has 4 arms, only 4 arms, so that he could bear witness and aid beings. So bear witness with his 1,000 eyes and help aid beings with his 1,000 hands. Avalokiteśvara, Om Mani Padme Hum. Buddha of compassion, and Tara is like his sister or his counterpart of the female Buddha of compassion. And together they're like hold us in this loving embrace so that we can manifest compassion and love in the world, because that's really what the Bodhisattva commitment is to recognize, to remember that we are here to love, to be loved, and to be loving. So whatever you have to do to be able to do that, please do it. Do the therapy, do the yoga in the morning, do your meditation, feed yourself well, take care of yourself so that we can be channels for love and compassion. This is the Bodhisattva path. This is what in Dharma is the main point of Dharma practice. It's not necessarily getting high as a kite in deep states of samadhi. I mean, that's great. And that does drop us into our true nature. But then the main point is to come back out of those states and step into the world like Tara, stepping with the right foot forward, present in samsara, available to beings, available to be of assistance, but her left leg is tucked in near the perineum, and that symbolizes nirvana. So she doesn't leave her blissful state of non-suffering. Nirvana is a state free from suffering, free of delusion. It knows no sorrow. So she stays present in that while she's also able to be accessible in the world. Can we do that? That's why embodiment through deity yoga, through prayer and mantra and visualization, like what we do in Vajrayana, the Tantric Buddhist path, is meant to help us remember our capacity as loving beings, as awakened beings, and step into the world like Tara does, and not get lost, and not get angry, and not get depleted, and not get destitute and disillusioned with it, because it's pretty disillusioning. Sometimes people will say to me, you know, we did these Tārās, we prayed for Justice Tara, but still so-and-so got elected, you know, maybe this doesn't work. But we can't come into our practice with a transactional attitude like that. We have no idea how karma is going to play out. We don't know why certain things happen. Sometimes a blessing may be a curse. Sometimes a curse may be a blessing. We don't know. We have to stay awake and stay present and keep praying no matter what, and not expect things to go the way we want them to go, right? I think as we get older, that becomes more and more clear. That became very clear to me in my 20s when I moved to India and nothing went as planned, you know. Nothing runs on schedule in the way that we're used to sometimes, and things go in different directions. And a big part of my experience living in India and during that time in 1996, 97, studying Dharma, Tibetan language, doing lots of retreat and doing my Nundro, was to roll with the punches, go with the flow, and get curious about why things are not always as they appear to be or going the way I wanted them to go. And what do I have to learn about that? So this is the Bodhisattva path. We're in the flow, we're in the river, and sometimes the river has twists and turns that we're not expecting. So what I'd like to do is read to you a beautiful passage from the 108 Praises to Ārya Tārā. It's another very sacred text, comparable to the 21 Praises to Tara, but a different one, 108 praises. of Ārya Tārā. So please sit comfortably, even close your eyes, take some deep breaths. You can feel this as a guided prayer, guided meditation. O Mother of the world, perfect in understanding, endowed with great compassion, you arose for the world's liberation. You hold a blue lotus in your hand and say, "Fear not, I will protect all beings. I will ferry all beings across the terrifying ocean of existence." Oh, Tara, you are bright with beautiful eyes, joy of starlight, full of pity for all beings, savior of all beings. Look down and gaze on all beings as your children. Your body is emerald green, blazing with splendor, invincible. If one simply remembers your name, you come forth to save from any terror. O Mother, Savioress, Protectress, Remover of every obstacle, homage to you, Mother Tara. Tara also means star. So when we feel Tara, the 21 Taras, but really they say Tara as is infinite as the stars in the sky. There aren't just 21. There's the infinite. We can also connect to the starlight. In one sense, we can feel whenever we open the veil and we turn our attention up into the heavens and we ask for blessings, Sambhogakaya, the enjoyment dimension of the deities, the Tārās and Avalokiteśvara and Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, we can feel their light shining upon us like starlight. So if visualization is hard for you, or if you have a hard time getting on the program with like deities, and you could feel them as like the stars twinkling and shining upon us, like the sun shining its warm light upon you, and feel that light and the warmth like the blessings of Tara, of deities. When rain falls from the sky, feel it like a rain of blessings from the heavens, and take that and receive it and feel it purifying you and healing you and removing obstacles. So this is a beautiful passage celebrating Tara as green Tara. And many of you know that green Tara is the most common, the most well-known, most beloved Tara. But there are others. White Tara is a close runner-up. Red Tara is very popular. But there are blue Taras, golden Taras, white Tara, other white Taras. There are a lot of different ones. And if you're familiar with the 21 Taras, whether it's in the Surya Gupta lineage or the Atiśa lineage or the lineage that I write about and we hold at Tara Mandala, which is the Longchen Nyingtik, the Dzogchen lineage, there are all different colors and enlightened activities and symbolism associated with each of the Tārās. Some of these iconographic lineages are similar or the same, and then sometimes they veer off into different interpretations. Why? Because the root text of the praises to the 21 Tārās that arose around the 11th century, revelation by Surya Gupta, the great sage of India who did a lot of practice and devotion to Tara. He received this beautiful Tantra, a long prayer, celebrating Mother Tara in many different forms in 21 stanzas. So it's 21 praises to Mother Tara, celebrating her in her different dimensions, her different moods. Sometimes she's fierce, wrathful. Sometimes she's very peaceful and healing, soothing. Sometimes she's semi-fierce and semi-peaceful, conjoined, like the yin and the yang merging. into this joyful bliss. They call it semi-fierce Tārās. So those are the three main moods of Tara, but then they also have these sub-moods within. And it's so interesting to learn about them. And then each Tara has a different symbol on her lotus flower in the Longchen Nyingtik tradition. But again, these three main iconographic lineages, the first one, Surya Gupta, the second one is Atiśa lineage, and then the third one is the Longchen Nyingtik lineage of Jigme Lingpa, which is a terma revelation. It's the only one that's a terma, treasure revelation. They all gain inspiration. They all base their teachings and interpretation and iconography upon this one root text. They all converge into the root text of the 21 praises to Tara. And that I've translated those praises in my book, Embodying TＡRE. You can also find them, different translations of the 21 praises to Tara online. Lotsawa House is a wonderful resource. Lotsawa House is a translation library. You can find almost every text, prayer, song translated, and you can find that and print it out and read it to yourself or celebrate that or listen even on YouTube, Spotify. You can find lamas or different chant artists having recorded the prayer. It's a very common prayer that's chanted daily in Tibetan culture, in particular Tibetan Buddhism. Many children learn it by heart from an early age. I've told this story many times before. I just love it so much, but I'll tell it now, which is a story that Khenpo Tsewang Dongyal Rinpoche shares. He is one of the preeminent writers and teachers in the Nyingma tradition. He's a wonderful Lama. He founded the Padmasambhava Institute with his older brother, Khenchen Palden Sherab Rinpoche, who's passed away. But he has this center up in upstate New York and another one in Florida, and he teaches widely and is a real authority in the Nyingma tradition, but also within the 21 Tārās Nyingma tradition. So he was a guide for me, one of my teachers. I consulted with him throughout my work of writing the book, writing the sadhanas, and I'm so indebted to him. But he told a funny story, which is that he said that every morning his mother would make him and his brother recite the 21 praises to Tara 7 times, and then she would give them breakfast. Their father, at the end of the day before bed, would make them recite it another 7 times before they could go to bed. So his joke was, our mother didn't let us eat and our father didn't let us sleep until we recited the 21 praises to Tara and learned it by heart 7 times. So my guess is that 7 times repetition, maybe it would take 10 minutes. It's not that long of a text. And I have an exciting announcement, which we haven't made public. I have secured that Khenpo Tsewang Dongyal Rinpoche, the teacher I was just speaking about, has accepted my invitation to come and give a guest talk in the 21 Tārās online course that just started earlier this month. And so I'm so grateful and excited that he will bless us with his presence and his inspiration. He is, in my mind, a true bodhisattva, an embodiment of Avalokiteśvara, so compassionate and wise. And his English is wonderful, so he doesn't require translation. So please seek him out in his own teachings or join the course and you'll get to receive teachings from him. And so we're so blessed. We still have wonderful teachers that we can receive authentic blessings and lineage teachings from, and he is one of them, one of the greats, still alive, still teaching. So, yeah, so the praises to 21 Tara, what's interesting is Surya Gupta. Surya Gupta is one of the great Mahasiddha sages. Often he's said to be a Mahasiddha. He was a great tantric Buddhist yogi. He lived in the 1100s in North India. He was actually in Kashmir. And that's really interesting because at that time, in the the medieval era, around the 10th, 11th, 12th centuries CE, in particular in Kashmir, it was a very fertile time for Tantra. Tantra was influencing both the Buddhists and the Vedic traditions that later became Hinduism, eventually became what we know of as Hinduism, which is actually a British label put upon many different traditions that they discovered when they colonized India. So same with Buddhism. Buddha didn't want to create an ism. He didn't want to create a religion. These are labels that are trying to consolidate and confine a lot of different things into one umbrella. But we also have to understand that these are mere labels and don't express the ultimate truth. Tantra is the same way. Tantra is a movement that arose from the soil of India. In a way, it was like people reclaiming their autonomy and their authority to communicate with the divine directly. And so rituals were able to be performed by men and women in the family and the home. You didn't have to be a Brahmin or a monk or nun in Buddhism to communicate with the divine and perform ritual, to do ceremony. And Tantra also turned a lot towards the body, towards the senses, towards this world, and integrating sensory impressions and input into the path instead of denying them, instead of turning away from the world. Tantra turned towards it. So it's very inclusive in a lot of ways, especially towards women. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about Buddhist Tantra. And what's interesting is that Tara plays a very important role in this. She appeared to Surya Gupta and also blessed him and healed him. The story goes that while he was practicing in his hut in Kashmir, where I'm sure there was a lot of cross-pollination with the Hindu tantric practitioners, the Buddhist tantric practitioners, very rich tantric hub in that area. Well, Surya Gupta, who was a devoted practitioner, and Tara was his Ishta Devata, contracted leprosy, and it was devouring him. So he went into retreat. He said, I'm going to seal myself in this retreat hut and pray to Tara until I'm healed. And he did that. And it's said that after 3 months, he had a vision of Lord Buddha, who appeared to him and recited this praise to Tara and downloaded it to him. It's kind of like a terma, like a treasure revealed to him. And it's praising the mother, the great mother, as Tara, in 21 different ways. So that is the source, the origin of this 21 praises to Tara, and therefore the source of these beautiful lineages that came out of this text. And the text itself traveled up to Tibet about 100 years later in the 1200s and was translated into Tibetan and then spread widely, because at that time also, around that time, Atiśa Dipamkara had come to Tibet to help revive Dharma in Tibet. And he, this was in the 11th century, he had already come and spread the Dharma and also brought tantric texts on devotion to white Tara and green Tara. Those were his two primary practices. And so it's really him who established the devotional lineages of reverence to Mother Tara in Tibet from India. Atiśa came from India to Tibet and lived his last 12 years in Tibet. And as you probably already know, he is primarily credited with establishing the Lojong mind training, compassion practices in Tibet. Many of you may have studied the 59 slogans, the mind training slogans. Those are attributed to Don Dunpa and Chekawa Yeshe Dorje, who were lineage holders and students of Don Tumpa was one of his primary students, and then Chekawa Yeshe Dorje carried the lineage further, writing one of the most famous texts called the 7-Point Mind Training. But all attributed to this wonderful figure, Atiśa Dipamkara, who brought a revival of Buddhism to Tibet in a time in Tibet where there had been a big decline in Buddhist practice due to some Tibetan kings who wanted the indigenous traditions of Tibet, the Bön and other religious traditions, to resurface. They didn't want Dharma to flourish. So it was a little bit of a battle of the religious armies, a battle of the forces there. But as we know, the rest is history, and Dharma flourished. And Tara became, like Mother Mary is to Catholics, Tara became one of the most important deities in Tibet next to Chenrezig. And also the 21 Tara praises practice is one of the most important, if not the most important Tantra in Tibet that's practiced in Tibet on a daily basis. So yeah, I wanted to just share about the origins of her as a devotional practice. Also, the story goes is that Tara, many eons ago, many world systems ago, in a world system called multicolored light, during a time when a Buddha named Drum Sound Buddha, Dundumsvara Buddha, lived. There was a princess named Wisdom Moon, and she was a Dharma practitioner, and she wanted to take the Bodhisattva vow. She was very inspired by this mission, this desire to awaken for the benefit of all beings. And so she went to the abbot of the monastery of this Buddha and said, I would like to take the Bodhisattva vow. And the abbot and the monks, they rejoiced in her aspiration, but they told her that she should pray to be reborn as a man first, so that she could then benefit even more beings through her Bodhisattva vow. And she was very dismayed by this small-minded misogyny. And from the point of wisdom, she replied, here there is no man, no woman, there is no I, there is no individual, there are no categories. Man or woman are only denominations created from the confused minds of beings in this world. So, I mean, she was ahead of her time, like gender is relative, non-binary. These are labels. And then she went on to make this vow. She said, there are many who desire enlightenment in a man's body, but none who work for the benefit of sentient beings in the body of a woman. Therefore, until samsara is empty, I shall work for the benefit of sentient beings in a woman's body. And in that moment, Buddha Dundumsvara sort of came out from behind from the other room. He was listening and he said, how wonderful, I rejoice in this, and I will give you the Bodhisattva vow. So the feeling is that he already knew this. He wasn't a misogynist, and he celebrated her and gave her the vow and acknowledged her wisdom. And so she practiced and developed through the Bodhisattva stages. There's said to be 10 stages of the Bodhisattva, of realizing deeper and deeper states of emptiness and compassion. And it's said that she eventually became a Bodhisattva who rested in the concentration that frees beings from samsara. And that's where she burst into the final stage. The 10th level Bodhisattva means you graduate into Buddhahood. And she became known as Buddha Tara. That's how she got the name Tara from Dumdumsvara. He gave her the name Tara, which literally means savioress, or she who saves, she who takes to the other shore. It also means star, as I mentioned earlier. So in that way, when we look up to the stars, we can feel Tara's grace. We can feel her guiding light and feel her as a mirror for our own divine nature, because ultimately that's what Buddhas and these deities are. They're not meant to be reified, externalized deities that we pray to and bow down to and fear, but rather they remind us of our own enlightened qualities, our luminosity, our compassion, our wisdom. So in the earlier Mahayana tradition, she was considered a bodhisattva, much like Avalokiteśvara, the stories. It's good to read these stories to understand these beings who went from being humans to bodhisattvas and then eventually Buddhas. So by the time we are in Buddhist Tantra, which is the third phase of development of Buddhism that arose around the 5th century CE in India, she becomes revered as a Buddha. And there's evidence of her, especially in Bengal, northeast India, where there are Hindu tantric devotional lineages to Tara, particularly as a fierce expression of a blue Tara. Her name is Ugra Tara. Ugra Tara. So there's evidence of her around the 6th century being worshipped in India. And then she also traveled to Southeast Asia, East Asia. There's evidence of her being practiced in Bagan, where Tantric Buddhism did flourish for many hundreds of years. And not so much anymore because now Burma is primarily Theravada. But before Theravada took root, Tantric Buddhism had been established in Burma, and there are Tantric Buddhist lineages devoted to Mother Tara. There's statues and paintings proving that. So she definitely was widely practiced even before she went up into Tibet. But they say that even there was a Nepali princess who married the first king of Tibet, Songtsen Gampo, in the 600s, and that she brought a statue, a wooden carved statue of Tara. So that's the earliest evidence of Tara coming to Tibet, but she didn't gain in full-blown practice, and her devotional lineages didn't really take off until Atiśa Dipamkara. Often she's called Ārya Tārā. Ārya means noble. And I love Robert Thurman's interpretation or teaching on this word noble. It's not only his interpretation, but he's where I heard it from first, is noble. So the Buddha, it's like he co-opted the word noble. At the time, noble was only being used for kings and queens, nobility in that way that we're familiar with as well. But he said true nobility is someone who is compassionate, who walks the earth with mindfulness, with intelligence, with care, with empathy, with wisdom and compassion. And that is what true nobility is. So when we say the noble Eightfold Path or the Four Noble Truths, that is what is meant by noble. Noble beings are beings who walk the earth with compassion. Bodhisattvas, compassionate beings. No matter what tradition they're from, they have that nobility. So Ārya means noble. Tara, the savioress. So noble savioress, noble Tara. In Tibetan, her name is Jetsunma or Jetsun Drolma. Jetsun is Ārya. It means noble, the noble one. Drolma is the Tibetan for Tara or the savioress. Jetsun Drolma. So you may have heard these names for her. And her primary mantra is Om Tare, Tu Tare, Ture Svaha. You could recite that with me. Om Tare, Tut Tare, Ture Svaha. Or the Tibetans say Soha. Tibetanized Sanskrit will say Soha. It makes sense. It's kind of easier to say Om Tare, Tu Tare, Ture Soha, especially when you're reciting the mantras swiftly. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. It's a little easier than Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Svaha. Well, maybe not. But that's not uncommon to hear the Tibetans say Soha. It's not wrong. It's just a Tibetanized version of the Sanskrit Svaha. When I talk to my Sanskrit scholar mentors and also Khenpo Tsewang Dongyal, Khenpo Tsewang Dongyal in particular said, whenever you can, revert back to the original Sanskrit. That is the original language. That is the revered language, the mother language of Dharma. So we should always defer to the Sanskrit. But sometimes we can also, if we've learned a mantra from a Tibetan Lama, a Tibetan teacher who taught it to you in a certain way, that way carries Shakti, it carries blessings. So if you learned Om Tari Tu Tari Ture Soha, it's not wrong, it's right. And it carries power. It's the intention behind the mantra. It's the millions and millions repetitions of that mantra that carries the Shakti. It's the state of mind. So Om Tari Tu Tari Ture Swaha. Om Tari Tu Tari Ture Soha. You can choose. And that is the root mantra in terms of her activities, her enlightened activities. And then the 21 Tārās all have that mantra for them. It's like the stem mantra, but then a few words are added before the svaha to highlight that particular Tara's enlightened activity. So for example, the first Tara in the Nyingma 21 Tara pantheon is red in color. Her name is Ture Vīrā in Sanskrit. Ture means swift, Vīrā means heroine. So Tara, the swift heroine. In Tibetan, it's Nyurma Pamo. Drolma, Nyurma Pamo. You can say these with me. Practice your mouth yoga. Nyurma Pamo. Nyurma means she who is swift. Nyur is swift. Ma is female. And Pamo is heroine. Not Palmo. Palmo is different. Pamo. Nyurma Pamo. Nyurma Pamo. Droma Nyurma Pamo. The swift heroine. And she removes obstacles to liberation, and she increases the heart of Bodhicitta in all beings. So I like to nickname her the Bodhicitta Tara. It makes sense she's the first one, because in Buddhism, that's the first thing we do, is we arouse our Bodhicitta before we do any practice. So she is red in color. She is semi-fierce. So she has this dakini appearance. If you've seen pictures of dakinis, their eyes are flashing like lightning. Their teeth are showing. It's like they're baring their fangs, their canine fangs. These called dakini teeth, dakini fangs. So you could even make that face for yourself of like, you know, if you were alive with passion and bliss, ferocity and peacefulness conjoined in this non-dual blissful state, how would that feel? You wouldn't just be like, you'd be like, yeah. So make that face. Eyes, they say in her praises that her eyes are flashing like lightning. So that is Nyodma Pamo. You can find images of the Tārās online. You can pretty much search anywhere, but we also have a wonderful catalog of them on the Tara Mandala website. You could search 21 Tārās at taramandala.org. And I also have a lot of them on my website, which is chandraeaston.com. So you could also look for the 21 Tārās there. So Droma Nyurma Pamo, red in color, semi-fierce, removes obstacles to liberation and increases the heart of Bodhicitta in all beings. So what is her mantra? Her mantra is Om Tari Tu Tari Ture, and before the Svaha, we have the wonderful word Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta. Bodhi is awakened. Chitta is heart-mind. So some translate it as the thought of enlightenment, the mind of enlightenment, the awakened heart. The implication is that it's compassion infused with wisdom. Ultimately, bodhicitta is a non-dual state of wisdom and compassion joined together in a non-dual way. How is that? Well, when we realize the non-dual, when we realize the empty, interdependent nature of all things, all beings, we naturally arouse a feeling of interconnected care, that we are all family. My liberation is tied up in your liberation. Your liberation is tied up in my liberation. If you're not free, I'm not free. And through that is an organic arising of compassion. So through understanding of emptiness and interdependence, compassion is authentic. It arises naturally. It's not performative. It's not a concept. And so bodhicitta is that unification of the emptiness and compassion, kind of like in a non-dual, blissful way, as the essence of our own mind. That is ultimately the nature of our own mind is bodhicitta. And I say chitta because it's chitta or citta. It's an unaspirated chitta. If you're If you're transliterating it, it's C-I-T-T-A. If you're phoneticizing the words of Sanskrit or Tibetan so that people can actually read them and pronounce them somewhat correctly, then you would say C-H-I-T-T-A, chitta. But many Tibetan lamas, Westerners, everybody says chitta, chitta. But technically it's chitta, C-H-I-T-T-A. So I'm trying to create a revolution here, but I'm also totally aware that it's probably never going to happen. But the correct pronunciation is bodhicitta, or you could say bodhicitta. So Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. This is Droma Nyurma Pamo, the first of the 21 Tārās. Swift heroine, removes obstacles to liberation. And so let's take some time to chant for a little bit, and then I'm going to open it up to questions. So we can feel ourselves. What we'll do is sort of the quick in practice, where we'll sound her seed syllable tam, T-A-M, long and slow. And then you'll imagine that sound of tam that's vibrating within you from the inside out, from your heart chakra out, transforms your normal body of flesh and bone into a body of light, a body of red luminous light, becoming Tara Ture Vīrā. In the royal ease posture, with the right leg stepping forward, the left leg folded in, the left hand in the gesture of 3 jewels. Take your thumb and ring finger and gently touch them. That's holding the Utpala flower, where the stem rises up and then the flower blooms above your left shoulder. And on her lotus flower is her symbol, which is a white conch shell spiraling clockwise. It's a self-arising sound of the sound of the conch, which is like the sound of the ocean. And that symbolizes the healing sound of the Dharma. So atop your lotus flower, at your left shoulder, next to your left ear, is sounding the conch shell standing upright on the lotus flower, a blue lotus flower, Utpala. Then your right hand is resting on your right knee, palm forward. So the right arm is somewhat straight but relaxed, palm open in the gesture or mudra of supreme generosity, always offering, always offering. You can imagine a Dharma wheel, if you like, on the palm of her hands. So this is the 3 jewels mudra, because the 3 fingers that are pointing upright are Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, 3 refuges, the 3 jewels. And then the right hand is the Supreme Generosity Mudra. Your face is dynamic. Your eyes are flashing like lightning. You can look up into the sky. Bare your fangs. Sometimes we need that ferocity, right? To remove obstacles, to cut through the BS. So feel that. It's not all love and light and peaceful, calm. Sometimes we have to be a little fiery. Well, this Tara, right from the gate, out of the gate, teaches us how to embody that. So we'll become her, hollow like a balloon. So your body becomes a body of light. And in the heart center is an orb of light. And in that orb of light is her seed syllable and the mantra. We don't need to get too much into details, but what you're going to feel is, as you're reciting the mantra, this mantra energy and sound spirals around your heart and emits rainbow light and brings those blessings to all beings. That's why this is called the activity mantra. We're enacting her enlightened activity. So this is your bodhisattva work. This is blending activism and contemplation together. And this rainbow light goes out and removes obstacles to freedom and liberation and safety and peace and joy. It increases the heart of compassion in all beings, so that meanies that are out there causing trouble chill out and discover love and compassion, and all suffering is pacified through our mantra. Let's imagine that. Let's spend, maybe a good 7-8 minutes in meditation. Okay, so get comfortable sitting up nice and tall. Allow your eyes to close and take some relaxation breaths. Soothing the body mind with the breath. Remembering that feeling of going for refuge and arousing bodhicitta, spirit of awakening for the benefit of all beings, the essence of TＡRA. And then taking this seat, if you wish, or imagining it, the left hand in the three jewels mudra at your heart, holding the stem of the Utpala that blooms at your left shoulder with the conch shell blowing the healing sound of the Dharma. The right hand palm up on the right knee, supreme generosity mudra. The right leg stepping forward into samsara, the left leg tucked in nirvana. A body of radiant red light as we sound Tam long and slow. Inhale. Da. Feel yourself as Tārā, body of red luminous light, effervescent, shimmering, semi-fierce, eyes flashing like lightning, teeth bearing dakini fangs, dynamism, wisdom and compassion, sparking and sparkling for all beings here. Embody this and take your seat as Tārā Ture Vīrā. This is divine pride, the ultimate self-esteem, returning to the essence of your own Buddha nature as Tārā. And as we recite the mantra, feel it spiraling counterclockwise in your heart, emanating rainbow light in all directions, removing obstacles to liberation, increasing bodhicitta, relieving suffering. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. 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 Now recite like the buzzing of the bees, a buzzing, a vibration of sound in your being, generating this rainbow light. Recite at your own pace, fast, slow, however you like. And stay with the visualization and stay with that feeling of light emanating from your heart, wisdom light in the form of rainbow colors to all being, helping and stepping into the flow of blessings of Tara's commitment to awaken beings through love and compassion. Om Dari Dari Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. Om Dari Dari Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. Om Dari Dari Ture Bodhicitta Svaha. Om Dari Dari Ture Bodhicitta. You can recite it quietly or silently, or completely silently. They say recite it. If you're doing it out loud like this, you can sort of like mantra japa, means mumbling the mantra, muttering the mantra, just loud enough so that your collarbones can hear you. Om Dari 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 Bodhicitta Svaha. Om Dari 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 Bodhicitta Svaha. Om Dari Dari Bodhicitta Svaha. Om Dari Dari Bodhicitta Svaha. Om Bodhicitta, Bodhicitta, Om Bodhicitta, Bodhicitta, Om Bodhicitta. Om Bodhicitta, Om Bodhicitta. As the rainbow light strikes beings, they awaken to their true nature and they become Tārās, multicolored rainbow Tārās. Red, white, blue, green, golden. Some are fierce, some are peaceful. See that space is filled with infinite beings, light, Tārās. Om Bodhicitta. Om Bodhicitta. Om Bodhicitta. Om Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta. Om Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta. Om Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta. Om Bodhicitta. Om Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta. Om Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta Swaha. Om Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta Swaha. Om Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta Swaha. Om Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta Swaha. Om Bodhicitta. Om Bodhicitta. Om Tare Tutare Ture Bodhicitta Swaha. Now with one final blast of rainbow light from your heart as Ture Vīrā, imagine that light radiates out and completes all of your enlightened activity. Everything is complete. All beings liberated and free from suffering. Blanketing the earth with rainbow light and then expanding beyond into the outer space, this rainbow cosmic light fills all of space. And then the world and its inhabitants, all phenomenal existence dissolve into rainbow light. And that light gets absorbed back into you like a blissful vacuum of just receiving that light. And then as Ture Vīrā, you begin to dissolve as well from the crown of your head and the soles of your feet, slowly converging towards your heart chakra. Slowly dissolving and converging into that orb of light at your heart, into the tum and the mantra, just dissolving everything together until everything dissolves into radiant emptiness. The feeling is that all material phenomenal existence is dissolved and you're resting in spacious, open awareness, consciousness, unbound by the confines of this body. Allow yourself to rest in this non-dual state, free of elaboration, free of activity. Let go of everything and drop it. Just drop and rest in mind's own nature. This is the true Tārā. This is absolute nature of mind. Rest. And then slowly begin to come back to your form, your normal body and form, but feel red Tara Ture Vīrā within you, as if her luminous body of light is just beneath the surface of your skin. You're integrated with her. And as you walk about your day and post-meditation practice, feel yourself integrated with Tara Ture Vīrā's compassionate, swift, powerful energy. And you can bring her to mind at any time through this feeling, but also through her mantra. The mantra is like her calling card. It's her secret formula where you access and enlighten yourself to her energy. And let's take a moment to dedicate the merit of our practice through this merit of practice, this positive energy we've cultivated. May we swiftly attain the state of noble Tara, and may all beings, without one exception, be free from suffering and taste the beauty of their true nature. So we offer it up, offer up. And in that way, it becomes limitless. The merit becomes limitless. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Tārās. Thank you for joining the, for lack of a better way of saying it, the Tara army, Bodhisattva Tārās, moving about in the world. We need more, we need all of you. So now I want to open it up maybe for about 10 minutes or so if we have questions. I'm happy to answer some questions and then we'll end. So please feel free. I guess we do it through the comments section, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and the music, they've posted the link to our music that's now on streaming on all different platforms. The first album is out, so please listen to that. It's the first recordings that we did of the 21 Tara mantras, and the first Tara recording is on there. It's first, second, third, fifth, 8th, 12th, and 21. Those are the melodies we were most ready to go into the studio with and record. It's really fun. And we're going to do all 21 now too. That's coming up next. Thank you, everybody. It's good to see your faces. I mean, not your faces, but your names. And I do see some of your faces in your profiles. Yeah, it's not too late to join the course. It's a 2-year course, meaning we meet just once a month. So it's a really spacious iteration of this favorite course. It's been a very popular course over the last 4 years. This will be the 4th time we're doing it. And we used to do it like a Tara every week, or then I was like, let's just do a Tara every 2 weeks. And even that felt like it's not enough time to really steep in each Tara. So I took the feedback and I redesigned the course to meet once a month. So we meet on the 2nd Saturday of every month, but we take summer off. We'll take July and August off from the online, and we're going to do an in-person retreat that's optional. And all that information is on the website. You can read a lot more. It's a really cool thing. We have office hours with me. We have assistant teachers who are guiding practices. It's more than just an online course. It's a movement we're creating. It's a community of Tara devotees, of Tara practitioners who love Tara, who want to go deeper into this work of embodiment. And we'll have little optional pods where people in similar time zones can join together and learn from each other and practice and share. We have beautiful online portal. It's just gorgeous what we've created, and I'm really proud of this course. So people can sign up for this course actually anytime, because you can watch the recordings and catch up. So you've really, at this point, only missed the first class. And we had a wonderful first class. We had Spring Washam join, who's written a book about Harriet Tubman. She's a Dharma teacher. So I invited her on to talk about Harriet Tubman and Dharma, because Harriet Tubman is one of my 2 main choices for Tara Ture Vīrā, the swift heroine who her own liberation wasn't good enough for her. She had to go back and help beings on the Underground Railroad, and she was fierce. And it's just really fun to feel these Tara energies come alive through the celebration and exploration of real life, women's lives, our own lives. The best time to practice Shanu is morning usually, but night is good too. right as the sun is rising, right before sunrise is the Brahma Muhurti time, they say. In India, it's an auspicious time where the veil is very thin, usually from like 3 to 5, 3 to 6 in the morning, depending on where you are. And it's true, that's when the veils are thin and the deities are more likely, you're more likely to receive the blessings and communications from the subtle realms. And but you know what, Shanu, anytime is the best time. Just at this day and age, anytime we need to practice. But first thing in the morning is best. Get up, take care of your business, drink some water, light your incense candle, make your offerings, and do your practice. It's the natural antidepressant. I can't encourage it enough. It's really important. Thank you, Joe Smith. I see you. Good to see you here. Yeah, she's there in the course. It's a magical course, a great community. Bob, thank you. He says, wondering about the mantra visualization as it spins, should the letters be? Yeah, so the letters in the female mantras, they spin counterclockwise. So if they're set up like in English, we write from left to right, right? So the mantras are written from left to right, just normal. So that's not different. But as you recite the mantra goes counterclockwise, around and around the moon disk. I didn't emphasize all the details because I didn't want to go too into it in a short course, but in the 21 Tārās course, there's more detail. And in my book too, Embodying Tara. And that's on audio, which is nice because you can listen to the guided meditations that way. And if you like my book, I haven't been saying this, but I would love good reviews, on Amazon or anywhere. Please keep reviewing. I've got great reviews, but not that many. And I know a lot of people are reading the book and love it. If you feel like you want to write a review, please do. It just helps the Tārās get out to more people. Any other questions? Well, there's an announcement for Lama Tsultrim will be coming back to Lama Live next week, which is such a treat. And she will be doing lungs, which are oral transmissions for some of the most important practices we do at Tara Mandala. The lungs she will give are Green Tara, hey, Chud, the severance practice of Chogyal Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche, and then Riwo Sangcha, which is a smoke offering, like a fire puja, but smoke offering for offering to deities, offering to all beings for peace and harmony. It's a beautiful practice, and it's a cool course that they've created. And then lastly, Shitro, which is practice for the dead, people who have passed away. We do Shitro practice for 49 days. So she will give lungs, which are like quick readings, so that you enter into the oral stream of blessings. And you have to be live to really receive the lung. And so she will offer those next week, November 2nd. I mean, you can listen to that afterwards, but optimally, when we receive lung, it's like live, like right now. You're hearing my live voice, not a recording of it. And that's officially receiving the lung in that way. Yeah, thank you. They're posting all sorts of wonderful things. Thank you, Josephine. Thank you. Ivana, where can we find your book? Audio. So the book is on Spotify, audiobooks, also Audible and audiobooks, all of those main streaming platforms, you can find it. And then you can order the book from my website, from the Tara Mandala website. It's the publisher is Shambhala Publications, so you could order from their website as well. I like giving Tara Mandala business, so if you want to order from them, that could be nice. taramandala.org has a wonderful online store. And who knows, maybe the audiobook is in other places too. They let me read it. That made me very happy because there's a lot of Sanskrit and Tibetan terms. And I knew if they had a professional reader, like an actor, do it, they might kind of butcher the language. So I'm reading it and I'm guiding the meditations. So I think it turned out quite well. Any other questions? Yeah, Catherine, let's post a picture of Red Tara. I have a bunch on my computer, but because of this StreamYard on Facebook, I wasn't able to do the graphics easily. So, but what we can do is I can ask the Tara Mandala team to include a post of this particular Red Tara Ture Vīrā in that. Yeah. Thank you, Karishma. Good to be with you all. I hope you're all well, and that this inspires your practice and your embodiment of Tara's energy in the world. That is my prayer, that we just keep in some way opening to her and helping to channel and bring her blessings to the world. She's very palpable when you open to her with devotion. It's quite amazing how Tara will make herself felt and known and heard in your life. So be open to that mystery and open your heart to her with devotion. Okay, so let's go ahead and close with a big dedication of merit for the benefit of all beings, deep gratitude to all the beings who have supported us and allowed us and brought us to this very moment, our guides, our teachers, our family, our friends, and your own inner wisdom and all those parts of yourselves that are healing and bringing you to greater self-realization. May Tara's blessings rain down on all beings everywhere without distinction. Thank you, everybody. Be well. You can always learn more about me and my work on my website at chandraeaston.com. So all of my courses are there. I do online things with Tara Mandala. I do in-person things with Tara Mandala, but I also have other courses in other places, Esalen online and at the Berkeley Alembic, and I'm local at the Bay Area. So, okay. Thank you, everybody. Take care and have a wonderful Sunday.
Thank you, Lopön, for such a rich and deep sharing today. There's so much color and vibrancy of all of the Tārās was beamed through in your teaching. So on behalf of everyone watching and myself, thank you, Lopön. And thank you at home to everyone for all your participation and support. Before we wrap up, a final reminder of something special, the 21 Tārās Collective Project. Lopön Chandra has teamed up with chant artist Nina Rao and composer Genevieve Walker to create original melodies for all 21 Tara mantras. The result is a luminous soundscape that carries the blessings of each Tara. And you can follow Tara Mandala on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to stay up to date with our news. And join our mailing list to get updates straight to your inbox. Past episodes of Lama Live are stored on our YouTube channel, where you can revisit them at any time. And now, following the tradition, going all the way back to the time of the Buddha, 2600 years ago, you have the opportunity to make an offering of dana to Lopön Chandra. Dana is a Pali and Sanskrit word meaning generosity. Offering dana creates an auspicious connection and is a beautiful expression of the interdependence between teacher and student. Dana directly recognizes the precious gift of the teacher and the teachings, without which one could not practice the Dharma. To offer dana, please follow the link in the chat now. And finally, we invite you to join us next week, November 2nd at 9 a.m. Pacific time, for our next Lama Live with Lama Tsultrim Alyone. Lama Tsultrim will offer the Lung for Green Tara, Chud of Chogyal Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche, Wiro Sangcho, and Jitro practices. We hope to see you there. Goodbye.
Tare Ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha Om Tare Ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha Om Tare Ture Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha Tare tu Tare tu